Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, this is Kenyan Revolutionary for a late night Kenyan news and politics recap. What is happening in Kenya? I don't expect you to be up still, because I know most of you are sleeping. Most of you are in Kenya. If you're in Europe somewhere, it's also late, so you're probably sleeping, but you're still up and you want to get involved in this. Let's talk about it. I didn't plan this one. This is a quick recap. I'm just going to be ranting and raving, and I'll invite anyone and anybody who wants to be part of this discussion. You can come and join in anytime. I'll be here for approximately 1 hour. As you know, today Chelsea is playing Club America, and they are playing in Atlanta, USA. But anyway, that's besides the point. We are going to talk politics. Are you ready? Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, and comrades? All right. I'm going to be ranting. I don't care if you're by myself. But anyone who wants to join, you're welcome. If you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you have, like the video, all of you like the video, I'll be getting in. I'll be doing my solo rant over here, but I'm putting the link in for anybody and anybody to get in the news. What's happening up there? There's so much happening. Today, I had to stop early this morning. But let me just go ahead. I'll explain that later. It's not that much important right now. It is now that is important, okay? Okay, let's get to the Mada ya leo. News recap, politics recap. What's happening in Kenya? Yes, the ODM folks, our folks in the ODM have named names, and they've officially, sent their experts, so to speak. They're experts. They say they're experts. They are sending their experts to help the government, to help Ruto stabilize the country, because it seems like, only ODM can help the country, okay? But they made it very clear that was not a coalition. They're not entering into a coalition government. No. That's not a coalition government. We're just sending a few of our experts. Now, who are these experts? Some of these experts are Hassan Joho, Oparanya, and what's the other guy's name? Oparanya, Joho, Wandai, Mbadi, and that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. I think so. Okay. But anyway, so after these guys, for these guys, in order for them to take a cabinet position in the executive, they have to relinquish their position as members of parliament, okay? Which they have done so officially and resign in their position in their political party to go work for the what? For the executive, because now they were trying to avoid this whole thing of, being a party hopper or, coming from one party and working. You can't do that. If you're in one party, you have to represent what the other party is doing. So that's why they had to do that. But anyway, so in the midst of this, for Hassan Joho, he's not risking anything, because Hassan Joho wasn't holding any public office. He's a private citizen by now. He finished his 10 years as a governor of Nairobi. So he's minding his own business. But he has been... There's something brewing when people are saying, Hassan Joho, he cannot become the main mining CS because he has graft issues and his education qualification might not meet the threshold there. So there's some people who have brought petition and said Hassan Joho is not qualified. Not only that, EACC have come out and said, listen, Oparanya had graft issues in Kakamega, he was in the governor's Kakamega. So Oparanya cannot be nominated to be a CS of anything, because Oparanya has graft issues, Al-Kwadama corruption. I mean, to be honest with you, even Hassan Joho, if you look at it, Mombasa, there's a lot of corruption that happened there, but he was never really formally charged. So maybe that one can get him off the hook. But people have petitioned and said, Hassan Joho, we all saw his KCSE results where he got D minus, average. Then they're saying he's not educated enough. I mean, according to Hassan Joho, to be fair to him, he said that after he got his D, he went in and had a alipata degree. I don't know where he got his degree, but that's subject to another debate. Not today, but people are saying he's not qualified. for that spot, while Oparanya is not qualified because he had that grave issues. In other news, the former tourist minister, whatever the case is, what's his name? He used to be in ODM. I forgot his name. Haji. I think his name was Haji too. Yeah. Is it Najib Balala? Sorry, Najib Balala. Najib Balala has been let go. Walipata, he's not guilty of the graft case. Remember, he was taken to court for allegedly ibering how many 9.5 billion graft case. Okay, your case ilikuwa earlier this year, I think, or last year, but he's walking scot-free. Yes, koti imeona. You know, you see what I'm talking about. This is what Gen Zs are saying, that listen, we can't continue having a system where people, evidence is gathered of people who are complicit, or are evidence is overwhelming that these guys are corrupt. Okay, you take it to court, alafu hizo makoti, maybe the person who has been accused of this graft, anaenda anatuma bahasha kwa judge, and before you know it, they're out free, scot-free. Unasikia there's no enough evidence. Sijui nini ameshinda kesi. This is what Abdel Nasir is talking about, that the judiciary has to be cleaned out. Ironically, Abdel Nasir himself is the master of the corruption, grand corrupt mullah. So I will not take anything he says seriously. He just does things on his own selfish interest. But that's what it is. But that's the part of the reason why people feel that we do not have confidence in all arms of government in Kenya, whether it's the presidential, whether it's the legislative body, whether it's the judiciary. That's why people want Ruto to go, because Ruto has compromised all arms of government. So the Gen Z are saying, we are coming to Nairobi on 8th of 8th, 2024 to remove you, because we have to take power back to the people and not have you use your power recklessly as you will to loot the resources of the country and compromise the opposition, compromise the legislative body, compromise the judiciary, compromise the executive, compromise all the institutions that are supposed to protect the wananchi, but you have already bought everyone and everyone. So that's the reason why Gen Z are going to the streets and saying, no. We are no longer asking for you to fix A, B, C, D, E. We are asking you to resign. If you don't, we are removing you. And guess what? Hii nane nane inashika moto. Karibu sana Bruce, Jack, Dev, and Messi M. Nice seeing you. So yes, what is happening is that this nane nane is starting to catch fire. Inaanza kushika moto. By the way, news flash for those of you who likes dancehall music, dancehall reggae, Vibes Cartel, the world boss, is free. Karibu sana. Thank you, Brother Benson. I see you in the comment section, Brother Benson. A wonderful young man who has a very nice channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a minute, go up there and please subscribe to his channel. He has wonderful interviews, and also he has great political analysis. The same thing I'm doing here, and usually have wonderful guests there who interview. So please check him out, Brother Benson. Okay, so nice seeing you, brother. Nice seeing you again. So let's play some clips here of what has happened today. I saw Ichung'wah having a temper tantrum. Temper tantrum after the appeals court said that, hey, listen, this finance bill is unconstitutional. Take it out here. Hii kitu haiko constitutional. Toa. Rudisha watu pesa. Francis Kimani, I see you. Karibu sana, Francis Kimani. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not waste any time. Take a moment and hit the like button. And if you have subscribed. Francis, I see you. Nakuona uko ndani kabisa. Ndani. Karibu sana. As we keep on going, please do the same. All right, so let's go. I'll start with where do you want me to start? Let me start with this news of Ichung'wah and his temper tantrum. Here is his response when he was responding to the news that the finance bill had been rejected, was ruled to be unconstitutional by the courts of the appeal. So this was his rant. Let's take a listen to this. Karibu sana, karibu sana. We are getting started. My friends, Ruto is leaving on the 8th of August. Bwana sifiwe. He's leaving. I believe it. He's leaving. I'll tell you why in a minute. Ruto, Raila, and the rest are leaving. They are leaving. Wanatoka. I'll tell you why. Nitaambia in a minute. Let's see. Let's look at Ichung'wah throwing tantrum in the House, in the National Assembly, because he found out that the Ninio finance bill ilitupwa nje. Thanks to what's his name? Musalia Mudavadi. Yes, it's not Musalia Mudavadi. Okiya Omtata, not Musalia. Musalia is just as corrupt. But anyway, it's Okiya Omtata. Yes, Brother Benson saying 2023 finance bill, they need to refund Kenyans their money. Absolutely. Pesa irudishwe. Pesa ifanye nini? Irudishwe. Tunataka hiyo pesa irudishwe. Na sio tafadhali, ni immediately, mara moja. Yes, I agree. They should return it. Let's listen to.
I saw last week in the United States, we must be the guardians of our constitution if the judiciary fails to be the guardians of our constitution. Because Parliament is the law-making body in the country. If the judiciary desires to be the lawmakers, they have the option of resigning from the judicial seats and come and run for parliamentary seats and come make laws in this house. But we cannot have a situation where the judiciary now wants to make laws from the bench.
Hold on. Ichung'wah needs to be corrected immediately. Ichung'wah is saying that it is up to the judiciary to protect the constitution. It is not only up to them, it's up to every arm of government and every citizen. It's everyone's responsibility to make sure that the constitution is adhered to. Gypsy Corner, karibu sana. Nice seeing you, my friend. So he's telling us that if they want to make laws and come to the legislative, they are not making laws. The judiciary, they receive petition. If there's any conflict regarding any issue between two or more parties, with the respect to the law, what the Constitution says, that's where we have the judicial arm of government to come in and adjudicate according to what the Constitution says. So these members of judiciary, of these appeal courts, they were not saying that, hey, we are trying to make new laws. No. That is not their position. Their position is to do what? To interpret the Constitution as it relates to the case that has been brought before them. So if Okiya Omtata brings this case, makes a case, builds up a case with evidence and what has transpired in the National Assembly, saying that the process in which this finance bill was brought about is illegal or unconstitutional, then the court will look at the evidence. Why is Okiya Omtata saying this thing is unconstitutional? What part of the Constitution is he referring to? Is he talking about how the budget making process was not right? What was it? Because you cannot have a tax collecting measure, which is a finance bill, if the budget itself, the process of making this budget, is flawed, unlawful. Okay? So the appeals court had to listen carefully, read through the petition, and determine if this petition had anything that is standing on, substantial evidence that proves that this finance bill 2023-24 was unconstitutional. Remember, Parliament makes laws, but any law that is made by the legislative body has to adhere to the Constitution. So, for example, if the constitution says that no citizen of Kenya can be denied food, now you cannot come and say that people who are in prison or in jail should not be fed, because that will be doing what? Will be violating the constitution, because the constitution says what? Every citizen have the right to have food. You understand? So that's what the appeals court were looking at. I don't have the particulars of this case, but I believe that the appeals court made their judgment based on the constitutionality of what this petition presented before them was trying to say. Okay, so that's basically it. So for Ichung'wah to come in front of the National Assembly and say, "Oh, these judges are trying to make," no, they cannot make laws. That's not their mandate. The lawmakers are at the legislative body, but even if they are in the at the legislative body, they have to legislate according to what the Constitution says, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Hallelujah. Okay, go ahead and like the video. Let's listen to Ichung'wah as he continues with his rant and waffle.
It has never happened anywhere in the world, in any democracy, Honorable Speaker. I saw last week in the United States, President Joe Biden outgoing in the United States, having similar problems with their Supreme Court. This era, Honorable Speaker, of judicial activism and judicial dictatorship must and needs to come to an end, Honorable Speaker. Because the judiciary is telling us that the legislative arm of government cannot legislate now. The executive arm of government will never execute anything without being superimposed on what to do by the judiciary. Honorable Speaker, I just say that in passing, because we have gone through a third reading, we have made amendments to the Appropriations Act. I'm here wondering whether another judge now will tell me or tell this House that we must go to the public for public participation. And these judges must understand that most of the amendments that come in through the Committee of the Whole are usually as a consequence of public participation. Even the Finance Act of 2023, even the Finance Bill, the rejected Finance Bill, all the amendments that came out of the third stage, the committee stage, emanated from what members of the public told their elected representatives. We do not want tax on bread. We came here, we amended the law, we removed tax on bread. They told us we don't want tax on motor vehicles. We came here, we amended. Now a judge is sitting somewhere in the courts and telling us, for you now to remove that tax, go back to the people and conduct another round of public participation. I don't know, Honorable Speaker, what kind of country we are in. I don't know whether it is what Honorable TJ Kajwang describes as judicial dictatorship, or it is judicial overreach, or it is people in their fantasy world imagining now they can be anything. You can be a judge, you can be a lawmaker, you can be a president. If you want to be a president, run for president. If you want to be an MP, run for MP. If you want to be a senator, run for Senate. But don't overreach. This judicial overreach must also now come to an end, Honorable Speaker. And I say that with immense respect to our landed friends in the judiciary. They must know they have boundaries. We have a country to guard. We have a country to govern. This country can only be governed and become a country if we do so under the rule of law, Honorable Speaker. And that rule of law, I can see with these numbers, Honorable Speaker, of these members of Parliament, we can put this matter to rest. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So the mischief in that argument, I want to call out to Ichung'wah on this because he's being mischievous. He's trying to mislead the unsuspecting crowd. Okay? Because he tells that the judiciary are overreaching, that they're overreaching their boundaries. In fact, he's saying they are legislating, which they are not. The legislative body, okay, these judges at the appellate court, They looked at the evidence. They looked at the petition that was presented by Okiomtata et al. Okay, and looked at the constitution. They looked at the evidence that was brought to them. So if the issue was that there was no public participation, because it is just not public participation, it has to be satisfactory. Okay, it has to be a substantial, qualitative, not quantitative, but qualitative. You can't send people a bunch of emails and tell them, let's meet on Monday in church, sijui ACK hapo Nakuru, tuongee juu ya ninio. Not everyone has access to emails. You understand what I'm saying? So people have to really have an opportunity to speak their minds, public that is, regarding any issue, the process, law-making process. Okay? So what the judiciary basically did was look at the complaints in the petition that was presented by Okiomtata. Okay? And looked at the evidence that was brought the case that was brought before them, and they looked at what the Constitution says and say, did this finance bill, whether it's the process or the content of it, did it meet the threshold? If not, then it's illegal. Okay? It's simple as that. But this pinhead, Ichung'wah, is trying to convince us that, the judiciary was sitting there and they say, we are going to legislate this thing, we don't want this finance bill, what is this to legislate? That is what he's trying to lie to the people. Okay? Of course, he's trying to play into people's ignorance. But I'm glad there was a gentleman out there, I think, who had a rebuttal. There was somebody who had a rebuttal of some sort. Can we look at the rebuttal? Yes, we can. Please, ladies and gentlemen, as you please make your way in, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'll be here for an hour. There's a match today that I have to watch. So I'll be here in an hour. If you want to get in, the link is in the chat. You can get in and give me your 2 cents regarding any issue and every issue to do with matters Kenyan politics, or should I say politics, okay? So thank you very much for everybody who's watching. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Okay, let's look at the rebuttal. Rebuttal we're looking at. Okay, mko ready? Sawa. We shall look at the rebuttal. We are going to look at it. You think we are not going to look at it? We are going to look at it. Let's look at it as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Here's the rebuttal. Well, I believe it's a rebuttal. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the video yet, but we shall see. I think so.
By the letter of the law. Mr. Speaker, I've had my colleagues complain here of the court decisions. I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard something either that the courts or the judges are blind. And they go by the letter of the law. And those laws are made by this house. If you're in a situation, Mr. Speaker, where courts are increasingly finding the laws that are made in this house unconstitutional, where does the blame lie? As much as we would blame the courts, we must first of all look at ourselves. Do we scrutinize the laws that we make adequately? So that how do they become unconstitutional? And they have passed through the legal system in Parliament, and then they have passed through Parliament, through the committees of Parliament, which have legal advisors, and then the courts actually find them unconstitutional. I think the blame starts with us, Mr. Speaker. And I know in this Parliament, we have had recently where we have come with this thing of put the question, and people very quickly with the majority pass the law without listening to people, without discussion. The next time that the minority will have their say and the majority will have their way is extremely important, Mr. Speaker, because the view of the minority may sometimes help situations where important issues would have been missed. So it is important that members of this house are allowed to put points, even when we're in a hurry. Sometimes it sounds like instructions to pass laws quickly. I think therein lies the problem that we may be blaming the courts for. Thank you.
Well said by that gentleman. I don't know what his name is, but he succinctly explained that the laws that these parliamentarians face, make, the lawmaking process should be a rigorous one, should be a thoroughly undertaken process. You can't just rush people and tell them, hey, vote this way, without consulting with the legal fraternity to make sure that whatever law that you're making is in line with the Constitution. We all know that half, or let's say just 80% of the legislative body is filled with dim-witted individuals, semi-literates who barely can spell their names. So when the president hurls them to a meeting somewhere in the State House and tell them to vote for a particular law, they won't ask if it's constitutional or not. They will simply do what the president says, because the president gave me some money, or maybe they think that is part of being loyal to the party that they belong to, without realizing that everything should be done in the interest of the people that you represent, which means if you are going to make a law, it has to be in line with the Constitution. You cannot make a law that is contravenes the Constitution. So it is silly. It is tomfoolery. It is idiotic. It's an oxymoron if someone like Ichung'wah stands in front of National Assembly and tries to convince us that we should only blame the judiciary because they declared what we had passed in Parliament unconstitutional. No, you should have consulted with your legal friends and see if the law that you're passing is actually constitutional. That is what that gentleman said, and he was on point. He was on the money. Here is some complaints. You remember I told you there are some people who are complaining about Hassan Joho. Okay, they're saying Joho is not qualified due to his education background, and EACC also are saying, Paranya akona kesi ufisadi. There's no way he can become a CS. No. Paranya cannot. Paranya, better find another job, not a CS. Better find another job. Tafuta kazi yengine. Enda kafanya kazi ya jua kali. You have 4 wives. Please ask him to give you a job or something. I don't know. You cannot become a CS with that kind of reputation. If you have a case somewhere with the EACC, where they are telling people, actually they are trying to take you to court. They've taken you to court.
Wakiwa waziri mteule wa usalama Kithure. Naam, mbali na hayo mtazamaji, ni kwamba shughuli ya kuwapiga msasa mawaziri wateule inatarajiwa kuanza rasmi hapo kesho mbele ya kamati ya bunge la kitaifa kuhusu uajiri. Lakini hata kabla ya shughuli hiyo kuanza, tume ya kitaifa ya kupambana na ufisadi nchini imewataka wabunge kudinda kumuidhinisha gavana wa zamani wa Kakamega Wycliffe Oparanya kwa tuhuma za ufisadi. Afisa mkuu mtendaji wa EACC Twalib Mbarak akisema kwamba Oparanya aliyeteuliwa kuwa waziri wa vyama vya ushirika na biashara ndogo bado ana maswali ya kujibu kuhusu ubadhirifu wa fedha. Oparanya amepangiwa kuhojiwa siku ya Jumapili, huku wanaofungua orodha hapo kesho wakiwa waziri mteule wa usalama Kithure Kindiki, Debra Mlongo wa afya, Alice Wahome wa ardhi, Julius Ogamba wa elimu na Soipan Tuya aliyependekezwa kuwa waziri wa ulinzi. Naam, mbali na hayo mtazamaji, ni kwamba shughuli ya kuwapiga msasa mawaziri wateule inatarajiwa kuanza rasmi hapo kesho mbele ya kamati ya bunge la kitaifa kuhusu uajiri. Lakini hata kabla ya shughuli hiyo kuanza, tume ya kitaifa ya kupambana na ufisadi nchini imewataka wabunge kudinda kumuidhinisha gavana wa zamani wa Kakamega Wycliffe Oparanya kwa tuhuma
So as you can see, Oparanya EACC is spoiling his plans. They are saying Oparanya cannot go anywhere. Oparanya wewe hauna uko na kesi za ufisadi, so you cannot go to the cabinet and try to represent us. No. Oparanya, please. Oparanya, please. Ombetsa, please. Tafuta kazi yengine. You cannot do this. Not only that, private citizens, I've told you, are going after Hassan Joho. In fact, Nyakudi saying there are 4 petitions that have been put forth saying that he does not meet the educational requirements for him to become a CS. Okay, here it is. If you guys can see it, it says more than 4 petitions have been filed in Parliament, each seeking to disqualify Ali Hassan Joho as CS nominee for mining and blue economy for allegedly lacking proper academic qualifications. Remember, Hassan Joho's vetting is going to happen on Sunday, 8 a.m. in Kenyan time. So, Gen Z and any interested Kenya, please show up and go put up your petition up there. So, hawa watu wajue kwamba hamfanyi mzaha. Hii maneno ni ya simchezo hiyo, si mchezo hata kidogo. Now, another thing is happening. The Gen Zs are making TikToks, they're making YouTube videos, they're making noise at the expresses. This thing is boiling up as we build up to the 8/8/2024 because that is the day that Kenyans are going to meet with destiny. Jacinta, thank you very much for joining us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to watch this video in repeat, make sure you like it and subscribe. We are aiming for 100. Our aim is always 100 likes, okay? And please subscribe, okay? So here it is. There's a young man who made a point. He's making his TikTok and hoping that Kenyans listen to his concerns regarding what will happen and why they are going to meet up on the 8th. Here it is. Let's listen in.
It's our time. We will face you guys fearless. Grand rising, my people. Grand rising. I'm inviting you all kwa 8/8, sawa? Si mnajua kile inamaanisha 8/8. Corruption must be a capital offense. Si kutuambia ati venye wana adjust hapa vitu. Hatutaki kusikia adjustment. We want it to be a capital offense. Hiyo ujinga ati makarao wanachukua hongo kwa barabara, watu wanaenda wanafanya kwa accident wanakufa. Itaisha hiyo. Si wanajifanya ati hapa venye wanajua kukidnap na kutocha watu pale Voi industrial area. Hapo inland sijui ICD. Hapo opposite GM. Sasa it's our time. We will face you guys fearless na tuogopi. Atuogopi saizi it's we are fearless. We will rather die watu 1 million. 1 million, hiyo atucheki. We'll rather die watu 1 million, watu 54 million in Kenya wapate haki zao. Kama hivyo ndio itabidi itakuwa hivyo. William Samoei Ruto, we have 47 counties. Kila county tu mtu moja tukuje tukuchallenge 1-on-1. Kama unaona kama hiyo ndio tunashindwa, hatushindwi, hatukupotea X. We know what we wanted. Na wewe tunajua kinyo unataka. We don't deal with the reverse psychology. We are
Okay, the young man has expressed himself in not so many words. Here it is. I want to tell you something that you have to bear in mind. This is something that is important that you really think about. If you look at the two issues, two corners of power, two polars of power, okay? One is the political class, what we call the political class in Kenya. And two, we call Gen Z, who are representatives of majority of disgruntled Kenyans who are not happy with this government, current Kenya Kwanza government, and their cohorts, okay? So this is what's happening. Listen to me very, very, very carefully, because this is a point that I want you to understand so you can understand Kenyan politics. What's happening, the rift that's happening between the Gen Zs and the political class. The Gen Zs are calling for accountability, taking Ruto out of office, asking him to resign because of ABCD, the things that he has mentioned, corruption, nepotism, and all that stuff, is called accountability. Okay? That is accountability. They are holding Ruto accountable for the what? Transgressions that he has committed against the people of this country. Okay? So they are holding the political class to be accountable, to account. On the other side, The political class are ganging up, coming together, the Raila Odingas and Ruto, by doing what? Doing what has been working for them for the past, I don't know how many years, 60 years of Kenyan existence, which is tribalistic, amalgamation. They're meeting together, they're coalescing, they're coming together, and they want to emphasize that they are meeting as leaders of certain tribal communities. This is not only happening in Kenya Kwanza, but it's also happening in Kenya Kwanza. Listen to me carefully as I explain to you, oh my dear Kenyans, listen to me. If you look at Ruto's regime right now, this fake concocted tension between Gachagua and Ruto, what is the emphasis there? You see, Gachagua is explicitly saying that, oh, I have so much, my weakness is I have so much love for my people of Mount Kenya. He wants to emphasize that he's a tribalist, he's a parochial-minded leader. He wants to emphasize his tribe. I have so much love for my central Mount Kenya people region, okay? And they are using the media by saying, oh, you see, Ruto, who is a Kalenjin, amewachana na Gachagua, amewacha watu wa Mount Kenya. So what that does psychologically is to tell the people of Mount Kenya that, oh, Ruto amewawacha, amewatenga. They're building this tribal tension, okay? And they're doing that very deliberately. Okay, so listen up. This is on the Kenya Kwanza side. They're doing this. So wanaeka tension ati sasa they're creating Gachagua to become this tribal leader of the Mount Kenya, while they say, so the narrative is Ruto amewacha watu wa Mount Kenya. He lied to them and now he's abandoning them and is looking upward to the Nyanza province. Now, look at their friends on the Azimio side, especially on the ODM side. ODM is the most influential party within the Azimio. Okay. Now, if you look at the ODM side, look at what they're saying. You can hear they're using the useful idiots like Kaluma, who is saying, you know, and Opeo, you know, historically there's some communities that are never in government. So you see, they want to emphasize the tribe. You hear them saying, what is wrong with the Luos being part of the CS ministry? What is wrong with the Luos being given positions? And Ruto is also playing into this by anaenda na pisha ataweka nani hapo Mbadi hapo, aweke Oparanya, aweke sijui nani, you know, the ODM Western Province, okay? They are playing this tribal card by using these tribalist leaders. Go look at the ODM page today. Let me show you something. Look at the ODM page, Twitter page today. Look at the page. Who did they put there? These are basically tribal chieftains of Kenya. Look at them. I want to show you. Was it ODM? Yes, I think it was. ODM party page, okay? Let's take a look at it very quickly because they want to that is their strongest suit because they are trying to divide the country to go back into their tribal cocoons by promoting, bringing all these tribal chieftains together because that's what has worked before because they feel threatened by the Gen Zs who are rallying around the constitution and the whole idea that leaders should be held accountable, not based on tribe, but based on what the law says, the constitution. But hawa watu wengine, ndio maana unaona watu wa ODM wanaka, sisi Luos, we are also going to, tuko kwa serikali sasa, hata sisi wameweka Mbadi hapo sijui nini. You see that? Take a look at the picture that they took today. Actually, I think it was Raila Odinga. Was it Raila Odinga? No. Yeah, it was Raila. Yeah, no, wait. This right here. Look at it. Look at it very quickly. I want to show you something. This is the psychological game that they're playing. Our wote Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. Okay? This is what they're playing. So let me show you. Okay. Tuangalie. You wanataka kuiweka they want to wanajaribu hawa vijana pia waangaliane kama you know, wangaliane kama kwa ukabila. Unasikia? Kwa sababu wameona hawa vijana wanaanza wanafinya kabisa, wanafinya. So you see this picture right here. Look at this picture. Look at that. Look at that picture. Who does that represent? You have Kioni on the left side, far left, who represents what? The Kikuyus, right? All right. Then you have Raila Odinga. Of course, he's kind of the viewed as the Luo Nyanza head of Nyanza. Kalonzo Musyoka, who's viewed as the head of Ukombani. You have Gideon Moi, of all people, who hails from the Kalenjin side. Aya, huyu jamaa anaitwa nini Munyama, whatever the name is, I forgot his name, from Central Province, Orengo. These are tribal chieftains, okay? And the emphasis is about tribe. That's why they're bringing these old, decrepit, corrupt, irredeemably corrupt leaders. Bernard is here. Bernard, talk to me. What's going on?
Well, I think Ruto is cornered. So when he's cornered, you know, he's basically he's going day to day. All his long-term plans now kind of been thrown off the work. So he's just going day by day. And the only script he knows is tribal balkanization of the country and killings. So he talked to Raila and said, how much can I buy the Luos for? So he wrote a check, and Raila is to deliver the Luo community to him. And that way, it gives him legitimacy that he needs to hang on to power. Because to him, it's about power, and it's about accumulation of wealth. And according to him, nobody's going to stop him.
Yep. And you see also, like I was mentioning, even the ODM side and Azimio are still kind of on the fence with it. But ODM side, of course, wameshanunuliwa. But you can see how they are emphasizing. The emphasis is so much. Oh, Sisi Wajaluo, we've never been on the government. So finally, we are getting the government. I think there was a Luo Navy guy who was put there. The lady who was going to be AG, I think, is a Luo. What's her name? Wandai. You see that, and they are making the Kalumas and what's his name? The guy Robert Alai. They are really tweeting this and shouting this. They want everyone to know that it is about, and they're trying to mash it in with the term an inclusive government, broad-based government. Okay, the emphasis is about tribe and tribal cocoons. That's their method, and you're very right on the money, because they are trying to counter what they really fear, which is Kenyans are united Kenyans of young, vibrant folks who are about to send them home. Not only Ruto, but all these rubbish leaders on the opposition and in Kenya Kwanza government. So I agree with you.
Yep, and you see, the Gen Zs have brought up a revolution that Raila could not manage to bring forth. The Gen Zs have put Ruto in a corner in a way Raila could not. So Raila has to try and, own the revolution and give it direction like he's used to. Like he's the one who's commanding. Like, we saw him in a funeral in Siaya with Senator Orengo, trying to lecture Orengo, saying, no, Orengo, you don't get it. The thing is, we're trying to teach Ruto how to run the government. But you see, the problem with Raila is that the revolution has left him behind. He doesn't seem to get it. These young people, they won't change, and they mean it, and they're going to get it.
Yes. In fact, there's a very interesting video. It's a short video. It's on X. It's about one of these young folks that were talking. They were making their voices heard. Let me just take this out for a minute. Where did I put it? Crap. But yeah, basically they were mentioning how the government is trying to portray the Gen Zs as coming from one community, that they are being sponsored by one community. Here is the video. It's a very brief one. It's a 2-minute video.
Gen Z walikuwa nataka serikali Gachagua angebaki aje na serikali imeenda yote. Sasa Gen Z walikuwa wanataka serikali iende. Katiba inasema rais mwenye amechaguliwa na mwenye wamechaguliwa na yeye akitoka hata mdogo wake anatoka. Sasa imewekwa propaganda pale ndani ati Gachagua atabaki akuwe rais. Hakuna. Gachagua atakuwa rais wa nani? Mimi watu wa Nyanza mmenishangaza sana. Mnasema ati Gen Z ati walikuwa watu wamesponsiwa sijui na Gachagua ati Ruto atoke na Uhuru. Hiyo ni kitu ambayo hata iko kwa mind ya watu wa Mount Kenya. Sasa Ruto umeanza siasa na mnajua kawaida ya Ruto, yeye anaanzanga siasa mapema sana. Sasa hii miaka 2 iko mbele, hakuna kazi atafanya. Wewe umeanza kusunguka na counties ukisema sisi tutajenga tutafanya. Hiyo kufanya mtafanya mpaka lini? You are wasting our time, Mr. President. Ajue hiyo. You are wasting our time. Na hiyo kiti ulipewa. Niulize Wajaruo, mnasahau haraka sana. Na hiyo kitu inanisinya sana. Na nimejiuliza maswali mingi sana. Nyinyi Wajaruo, Ogora amekufa juzi. Na mmesahau. Sasa Ogora akuve, ndio sasa Raila akalie kiti, ndio sasa msapoti Ruto tena. Hatuwezi. Wajaruo, hata kama mkicheza siasa zenu, wacheni kubadilikanga kama vinyonga haraka. Ati juzi mnapiga Ruto, leo muko kwa Raila mnasapoti Ruto. Hiyo ni siasa gani? Sasa tunapea Gen Z opposition ya nchi ya Kenya ndio watetee nchi, sababu tunaona Raila pia ameseeka. Akienda EU hatarudi kwa siasa. Tarehe 8 tunakuja Nairobi. Mimi mnitafutie mahali pa kulala. Nitakuja na nikae huko tukiwa na huyu.
Okay, but anyway, the main point he's trying to make, and I'm trying to make by playing this, is that you can see that the political class, I see the same sentiments being echoed in Jacaranda with those comedians. That Gen Z, they're now trying to paint this Gen Z as being paid by the Mount Kenya leaders. They're not about accountability. This must be our to Mount Kenya. They are facilitating this thing. They are wanalipa hii kitu kwa sababu Ruto amewaruka. That seems to be something that they're trying to drive home to counter this real revolution. What do you think, Mr. Bennett?
That is true, because the problem with the revolution is this: a revolution is something extremely powerful, and it sweeps and changes everything. So for a revolution to take place, you must put fuel, and then before you light the match, so that it can burn. Part of the fuel, what's making this movement extremely powerful and strong, is number one, the mistakes Ruto has made. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. Number two, Ruto is full of vengeance as a person. He is extremely vengeful, and he doesn't forget. And number three, let's not forget the tribal politics, the tribal nature of Kenyan politics. Trust me, in 2027, don't be surprised if we go back to tribal lines when it comes to voting, because there's no other way for us to vote. People will go to their communities, but then they'll make sure that the person they're voting for is not corrupt. That may change, but still, politics are going to remain local. So Ruto, when Ruto came to power, he had so much anger against Uhuru, and for some reason against people from Mount Kenya, because he fired so many of them. And we all know that Nani's son was seen in the Mandamano. Gashagua's son was seen in the Mandamano, and the MP of Laikipia, Mwangi Kiunjuri, his son was also seen in the Mandamano. So just by virtue of Kikuyus being like 20% of the population, it's natural that the Gen Zs, 20% of the Gen Zs, or 30%, in case you're in Nairobi, maybe even 40%, will be Kikuyus. And with the disgruntled parents are sending them. But is that the root cause of the Gen Z movement? No. Are some Kikuyus funding this thing? Yes. Because they want to out. But it's not the main thing. it's part of a much bigger problem. And what's going to sweep Ruto out of office is the combined force of all the things that he's doing. Amongst them, his total incompetence. I watched Ruto in Mombasa, talking to the young people there in a town hall. It's like he didn't even prepare for that town hall. People asking him questions. How did you reappoint Murkomen? Oh, Ruto responded by saying, I reappointed him, but under new terms. But this is a thief you've brought back. Right. So that's the stuff that's gonna really drive these young people to state house, kick him out. The anger of this guy being completely dim, completely zero at understanding human sentiment. He doesn't get it. These young people mean business. They want a secure future. They want Kenya to develop. They can see what's happening outside Kenya. They know Kenya can become like, Nairobi can become like London or New York. But Ruto is holding them back. He doesn't see it, and they're coming for him.
Yes, that's correct. Because I mean, we were here with you the day after those nominees from ODM were announced, and even there were some people from Nyanza province. We even saw Migori people saying, you know what, the next Nane they'll be out. So even in Nyanza province, the young folks there, they are just as upset. And you're right by saying the problems, the root cause of this mandamano is way bigger than mchezo ya sijui ukabila hapa. And that's why I'm saying even 2027, I don't know how 2027 will work out. I honestly don't know, because this Gen Z this movement is something else. What do you make of this whole thing about trying to remove the deputy president? They're trying to impeach him. What's all this nonsense about? Is it something real, or is it a joke, or is abracadabra just to... Yeah,
it's real, and it stems from two main areas. Number one, like I said, it was very, very vengeful. And I remember how Gachagua had a press conference in Mombasa when things were thick. Ruto didn't like that, so he has to hit back at him. But now what's holding Ruto back is this: it's extremely dangerous to impeach Gachagua. It could happen, but it is extremely dangerous because already Ruto he's facing Gen Zs, and he's facing other problems. Now, if you add Mount Kenya anger into that, it can become catastrophic for Ruto. So I don't think Ruto is that stupid to do it. Number two, it could be a political strategy where he attacks Gachagua through a fake motion of impeachment. Then Kikuyus rally behind Gachagua. Then Ruto comes and saves him to try and gain, because right now he has no support in Mount Kenya. So there could be that. But looking at what's happening, what people like the governor of Nyeri are saying, this thing is real. Ruto is extremely angry, and that's why he's extremely desperate to get Raila on his side. Because Mount Kenya gave Ruto 3.1 or 3.3 million votes. And they withdrew that support. So Ruto knows he's naked. That's why he wants Akina Raila at any cost. You come in, Joho, no degree, don't worry. Give him whatever docket. Now,
don't worry.
Now, I need support.
From anywhere. Yeah. Brother Benson is here joining us. Brother Benson, start wherever you want to start.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm at a place where I cannot go on camera, but I agree with Bernard 100% about Gachagua. You know, another thing that maybe Bernard mentioned, it is also assigned to warn Gachagua that now, if you try to hold me hostage, I have ODM with me. So don't try it, you know. And the tactics also that I agree with Bernard 100% is like trying to bring this, then again tell Kikuyus, okay, we are stopping the impeachment so that the Kikuyu or the mountain will see, okay, he saved our son, then he'll be on my side. They will come back to, okay, he's a good leader, he's listening to us. When they wanted to impeach our son, I came to his rescue. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I agree with Bernard on that. And another thing also you have to look again is the leaders sometimes, I believe 100% that the Right Honorable Prime Minister and President William Ruto still do not understand what is taking place. That is my thought, because when you look at people who are on the street, they did not put on any T-shirt to show allegiance to any political party. Yeah. And if you're very keen, there were people who were giving these people water. That one should worry you most, because it tells you these people were supported. You know, they are very, 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 very small indications that you might not take them seriously. And they mean big. Yeah. If you look them inwardly, because these are hotels. They were just by the hotel there. These people are throwing waters to them because, like, they knew, okay, these people are doing the right thing. Not only those, there are those even that were not captured in the camera, you know, that people have. So I still believe that even the Right Honorable Prime Minister still does not understand, because remember, this is the first time we are getting a group that can call for holiday, which Prime Minister used to call, you know. And remember, again, this is the first group that has defeated William Ruto in his political career. He has never been defeated. And he said that I've conceded, you know. So I still believe that they are fixing political fix. They're bringing together to fix the political part of it, but they are not fixing the issue. Then another thing that I would want to mention, when you look at the handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila was because Ruto was holding Uhuru Kenyatta hostage. That's why Raila came in to neutralize the Ruto's force, right? Yeah. Then now, this one is about the public and Ruto and Raila coming to neutralize. Remember, these are tribalists. They don't subscribe to any tribe. So it's going to be calm for a moment, but I don't think it will stop the revolt. That is what I think. I might be wrong, and that's what I think, brother.
No, there's nobody who's wrong or right in this discussion. It's how we see it. You're right. I agree with almost everything you said. What started all this with Ruto and Gachagua? What started all this thing? Can someone help me, Benson or Bernard? How did this thing start? I woke up one day and I hear that there's tension between Ruto and Gachagua. What's this?
It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Ruto harbors ambitions to become like Kagame or to become like Museveni. He wants to be life president. Like, he's power hungry. You know, Ruto believes in absolute power. So he used Gachagua to get to where he is. So under the 48 laws of power, if someone assists you into becoming a king, you must first destroy them for you to get the next step. For Ruto to become Kagame or Museveni, he has to finish Gachagua, because Gachagua will not let him have his way. That's a political philosophy that's behind what you're saying. To get into specifics, since Ruto is a schemer, when he appointed Gachagua as VP, he made sure he had other forces in Central to counter him. The first one was Moses Kuria. The second one was Ichung'wah. So he made sure he made Ichung'wah the majority in the House. And the third one was chairman of Budget Committee, Ndindi Nyoro. If you listened carefully to a speech, one of the most bitter speeches given by Gachagua against Ruto, he said specifically, umeleta angalisa mlima mambo imeharibika, watoto wetu unatembea huko na helicopter, which means he was talking about Ndindi Nyoro, which is true. Ruto was pouring so much money into Ndindi Nyoro. In fact, Ndindi Nyoro in Murang'a single-handedly launched a project to feed all school children every day. They were being given lunch and some protein, some crazy thing was going on. Single-handedly doing it, Ndindi Nyoro, which means that all the corruption money they were getting from Kenya Power and whatever was being channeled to Ndindi Nyoro in Murang'a to check Gachagua in Central. So that's a brief summary of what was going on.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. And maybe another thing also was that something that could have also brought this disagreement was about the looting because everybody wanted to loot. And if you can remember very well, he talked about some of the intelligence that were the NIS staff that were there, that were coming from Mount Kenya, that were transferred to some places, and like he felt like they were demoted. And I feel this was a way in which to cut out a way in which he cannot get some information from intelligence, because the people that he trusted so much in the intelligence were taken out there. And that's why you find he was very, very, very much categorical during his presser, telling the Nurdin Haji that he should resign and take responsibility. How could you do that? Yet this is somebody who is appointed by the president. So that is what I think went wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I think Bernard have alluded to that one time. Now, the last question, because I wanted to watch a Chelsea game. It's starting 7:30. But there's a question I wanted to ask you. I'll start with Benson while you're there, then I'll go to Bernard. What do you think will happen if Oparanya does not qualify to become the CS and Hassan Joho? Like I said, I started, there's people putting petitions. There's 4 petitions that have been put in Parliament right now. And EACC is coming out saying, Umbetsa, you have a graft case. You shouldn't be you shouldn't be having this position. What does that do to the ODM structure? Because now they don't have a position. They've already left their position in the ODM. So if they miss that CS position, where does that leave them? Are they going to go to Kenya Kwanza officially, or where are they left? Him and Joho.
Bernard, you want to go first? Then I'll come after him, or should I go first?
Bernard, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Number one, like I told you before, when Raila went to Ruto to help him out, to save him, he did one thing effectively. He blew up ODM. ODM exploded into pieces. And that's typical. When Raila shook Uhuru's hand, Jubilee exploded into pieces. So now the question is, who will pick up the pieces? So most likely, these guys will just, they'll become like meteors. They'll catch fire, like in a Joho. Once, if they miss those appointments, if they're not approved, then they're just gonna ignite, and just die off, because Kenyans are very angry with them, so to speak. Remember, like, this guy, Mohamed Chopevu, was extremely angry with Ruto because of appointing Joho. Because Mohamed Chopevu in Mombasa thought he's the founder member of UDA in Mombasa. Joho came from nowhere and got a Hail Mary cabinet position. So this explosion will lead to, you mix it in with the revolution, and someone somewhere is like a vulture. You're gonna see it could, and people are scheming, and you could see the rise of either Orengo, Simba Arati, or Babu Owino take over the party.
Speaking of which,
and wrestle it from Raila Odinga, because after this, I don't know how Raila is gonna survive this. Kenyans are extremely angry with him. So this could lead the rise of Babu Owino, could come up and rise and completely destroy Akina Sifuna, take over the party, and things can get crazy. You could see Babu Owino teaming up Akina Simba Arati and getting Walio Mushomba from Gibongori, and people like Mohamed Chopevu from Mombasa. Like, the revolution could sweep the country, and something can come up out of this and say, enough is enough. You've been taking us for granted for a very, very long time. We're here to serve the people. Raila, sit down. Joho, Rudi Mombasa, Kachini, retire. You go there, sit down. We got this. From now on, it's like this. It's fair. We're going to lead a clean, lean cabinet, a country that works for everyone, zero corruption. Something like that could emerge. That's my hope and my wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before, if I could add this to Benson, what happened to Babu Owino, Otiende Amolo? I expected these guys to, today I saw Raila with the Abdul Samwa, the new governor of Mombasa, and was it Arati? And I was thinking, okay, I think Babu Owino is very vocal, but Babu Owino, remember, he said that he will stand with the people, so maybe that's the reason why. But Otiende Amolo, go ahead.
Remember the reason maybe sometimes we might not say them. Remember the base where they are coming from. You know, like the region, like the village base. You know, it takes time to convince them that how Raila is bad. You know, because they had like very fanatical base and fan. You know, so it takes time to do that. So that's why maybe you're not seeing Otiende Amolo coming out very strongly and Babu Owino also not coming out very strongly, because they're still maybe studying the field on how things would go. And you asked a question whereby if Oparanya and Joe does not get the what will happen. So this is the scenario. You know, what you look at the political landscape of Kenya, whereby the law only applies when it favors you. If it doesn't favor you, it doesn't apply. Yeah. So this is a situation whereby you can suspend the law, because the political class has always suspended the law whenever they feel like they suspend the constitution and do according to their will. Even what they did by the ODM leaders joining the Kenya Kwanza, they're telling you that is a broad-based government. It is not a broad-based. That is ODM joining Kenya Kwanza. There's nothing broad about it. Why should you replace Owalo, who has done well with Wandai? Then you tell us that is a broad-based. Why should you replace Aisha Jumwa with Joe? Then tell us that is a broad base. So to me, that is not a broad base. So what is happening is this: because they have the power right now, they will use their means to force them to be vetted. Yeah. And that's where the revolt is coming from. And that's why I was telling you, still the president and Right Honorable Prime Minister and Raila, they're still not understanding what is there. They're looking at it in terms of political fix, but not the solution. They're fixing their politics, but not the solution that the Kenyans are asking. And even remember about the budget that was allocated to the first family and the second, you know, the parliament did reject it, you know, yeah. And the things that are touching on the health, education, those are the areas that are being details to the kind of MPs that we have. So even the committee that is selected to go and vet this MP, they are the surrogates of the two. You know, these are the surrogates. There's nothing you can call these are real Kenya. These are surrogates. So they will try their level best, but if things don't work their way, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I know they have to find a way, because a deal that they've done before they're just confirming it.
Okay. That's good way. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. I like the answers. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have to end it here because I have to go watch this match. I wish I could go on. This is such a nice conversation. I didn't even expect it to be like this. Let's do this more often. Brother Benson, please tell people about your channel. I'm giving you to tell people about your channel.
My channel is Brother Benson Media. I do host quite a number of leaders. Tomorrow I'll be having Ambassador Esther Waringa. She's planning to run for presidency in the year 2027. So tomorrow I will be engaging in governance. Especially we are going to discuss about issue of realizing good governance in the country and other things that are trending. So she will be there to answer those questions. So if you're out there, you're willing to join the conversation, just come to Brother Benson Media. We do the same thing. Kenya Revolution is my friend. So thank you so much, brother, for giving me a platform. And I appreciate so much. And say hi to Bernard, my namesake. Thank you so much for joining.
What time is it going to be? What time is it going to be, the interview tomorrow?
The interview will be at 8 p.m. Kenyan time.
Kenyan time. Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay,
thank you so much,
Brother Benson. I'm gonna check your channel. I'm gonna check your channel out.
Thank you so much, my brother, and nice meeting you on this channel.
Likewise.
All
and
right.
Kenya Revolutionary, thank you for being the official opposition on the internet.
You also you shall join me and Brother Benson in that new chama we want to start. Opposition on the internet.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, brother. Nice time.
All right, next time. I want to shout out very quickly with this few times I have Mary Wilborn. Thank you so much for joining us. Gypsy Corner. I'm sorry, I know you're telling me to forget about Chelsea, but I can't. I've been waiting for this game. But thank you so much for joining me today. Who else? Afro Love. Thank you so much for your comments. Jacinta Teresa Smith. Thank you so much. Who else? WS Banker also. Thank you so much. Black Gypsy Cham. Thank you so much. Who else am I missing? Bruce. Yagdev, you're always here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Macy M, who was here too, always loyal. Thank you so much for watching this. And also my panelists who came in today, Brother Benson and Bernard. I appreciate you guys. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? I'll come in earlier tomorrow. Tomorrow around 11 a.m. If you live in the Eastern time, Bernard, I know you know. If you're working, that's fine. You can always listen in the background, whatever the case is. I'll be here and also in the evening, and we can have these discussions as usual. Thank you so much, guys. I have to go. I'll see you tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Like, share, comment, even if you're going to watch this in repeat. Thank you, and God bless. And I'll see you later. Peace.